Hey there guys, this video is obviously quite serious, not very happy, not very cheery. I apologize in advance. If you want the trigger warnings, content warnings, please look in the description, because I am gonna cover some pretty heavy stuff. And it's going to be pretty upsetting to talk about anyway, but if you are especially sensitive to the kind of things that I'm about to be talking about, or if you just don't want to hear about it, then please do look in the description to see the content warnings and trigger warnings and stuff. You can pause while you look at the description and stuff, because I'm gonna get into it. Right. Okay. So, a while back, I made an enlisted video that I told a few people about, but not many because I didn't want it to be sort of like a big thing on my channel. Basically, rambling, venting, and explaining basically what's been up with me for, at this point, about half a year, because I still have not been okay since. It really shook the boat, you know. But yes, I made a rambly venty explanation thing. I will link that down in the description if you don't know what I'm talking about. But at the end of that, I briefly touched on something that I was going to make a part 2 to go into more detail about, but I just couldn't find the emotional energy. Some people were being not very nice and not very good. That situation needed to be dealt with, and it kind of was. Things have calmed down in that respect. Though, because things needed to be dealt with, like, basically immediately, I never actually got around to making that part 2 because things were more or less addressed, and it felt kind of like beating a dead horse. So I didn't want to make that part 2, lest basically seeming like an asshole that can't let things go. But here I am, still unable to move forward because it feels like this is constantly just sitting on my chest, because it's never actually been spoken about properly. So I am kind of beating around the bush now, and I do want to just get straight into it. I have left also a Google Doc down in the description, which you can look at for screenshots and stuff. But basically, in case you don't know, I am talking about a situation with Ultratwink, also known as Yemi. And a few people may know that they and I dated for a short while, and yeah, that was that. I will go into the description of all of that stuff in the unlisted video that I posted a while back down below, because that was basically what happened with me personally and them. But this video is not about that. This video is about inappropriate behavior towards minors, regarding Yemi / Ultratwink, an adult. I've been seeing a lot of people exposing and talking about other ASM artists, people in the community that have been inappropriate towards minors, and that is a good thing. Like, I know that it's like, Jesus, how many more are there? And it can get really depressing and really upsetting and nasty and gross, because just thinking about how often it happens. Luckily, there is a lot more good people in the community than bad, but I do also feel like this needs to be addressed. This obviously is in no way taking away from the incidents that have happened regarding other minors and other creators, because those are also terrible. But it also makes me feel like this should also be said. Like, if it's like a see something, say something, and if you don't say something, you also feel responsible, because you are in a way covering for the person that you're not talking about, you know? And of course, as always, I can't force your opinion to be one way or another. It's your own decision to make, but people can't make a decision properly unless they have all the information that they need to make a decision. If someone doesn't know a big chunk of something, then they can't fully make a decision on that something. I'm rambling, I hope I'm making sense. But basically, if you see something, you should say something, and I feel responsible if I do not also say something. I feel like another thing that has kind of triggered me to say something has been the fact that I've seen other sort of like fans of VA work on YouTube or other content creators on YouTube being quite close with Twink, and I don't want to like cut off all of their friends and things like that, because everyone should have friends, but like, I have my own personal opinions on what groomers and child predators deserve, but go off, I guess. It's not about that, it's more about the fact that these people that I'm seeing interacting with them have spoken out quite passionately about other content creators that have taken advantage of younger fans. So it feels wrong to not make more people aware of what they've done. And I am kind of, again, beating around the bush. I am so sorry. I just feel the need to over-explain everything. I'm really just going off on a tangent here, but being inappropriate with a minor, if you're an adult, is never okay. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's not, oh, well, I couldn't help it. It's something that should not have happened in the first place. It's not a mistake that you should just find the right people to accept you for, because it's not okay. It's the same as when people are like, oh, these people coming out about trigger rape. These girls coming out about these guys doing this. They've ruined these guys' lives. They've taken away opportunities from them. Yeah, well, are you ignoring the fact that what they did to their victim was a choice, and they have really screwed those girls up? Or, I'm not saying that guys can't get raped too. I'm not saying girls can't rape guys. I'm just saying, just as a generalization, it's usually, these girls speaking up against these guys who did this terrible thing. Yes, of course they are. And if those guys lose opportunities for the thing that they did, then they should. They absolutely should. Because they had the choice to not behave in that way. They took the choice away from those girls. When a content creator, an adult content creator, is inappropriate or lewd or anything like that towards a minor that is also a fan, especially, like, adult-minor power dynamic is already not okay, but content creator adult plus a minor who is a fan is a very strong power dynamic that needs to be considered when adult content creators interact with their fans, especially their younger fans. And it doesn't sit right with me with the fact that adult content creators, not just Ultratwink, but like the ones that you've probably been hearing a lot about if you're in the community. And there's a very unfortunate amount of content creators that have been doing things like this. But yeah, that is a power dynamic that needs to be talked about more. And it's something that definitely needs to be considered more, especially if you are in that place of holding that, power. It's not putting yourself on a pedestal. It's not saying, oh, I'm better than everyone else. Oh, I'm so great. No, it's understanding that as an adult and as a content creator, you have fans that are under the age of 18 that look up to you and that respect you a lot, and that also kind of maybe put you on a pedestal. And if you give them attention in a kind of way, that has the doubled up effect of, wow, an adult is giving me this kind of attention. This makes me feel very mature. This makes me feel this way. This makes me feel that way. Or, not even or, as well as, wow, this content creator is talking to me like this. Oh my gosh, I feel so special, this, that, and the other. And this isn't me sort of like putting words in like young people's mouths. Oh, Kai doesn't know, he's so out of touch. I have been that minor that was groomed without realizing that I was groomed, because I thought it was a great thing. I was like, wow, this older person sees me in this way. This person is really popular with like among this group of people or in this community. Wow, I feel so special. Yeah, I knew that I was more mature than people my age. Of course, someone this age likes me. This just kind of validates that. And I didn't realize how much that, along with other things that happened when I was younger, but we're not going to go into that. I never realized how much that actually messed me up. And it does kind of skew the way that your mind works. It skews the way that you think. It skews the way that you see yourself. It skews the way that you see other people. It skews the way that you see interactions that you have with other people. And it took me a very long time to realize that. And that is another reason why I am also so incredibly passionate about speaking about these things. And so incredibly upset at myself every day for the fact that I have known about another thing that Ultratwink did, but didn't say anything. When we were kind of early on-ish in our relationship, they confessed to me that when they were 18 years old, they dated a 13-year-old for about 5 months, I believe. I will put the screenshots so that you know I'm not bullshitting just to, I don't know, make my case for whatever reason. But yeah. And I didn't know what to do with that, because they seemed to be really beating themselves up about it. Kind of like talking to me like, well, if you knew this about me, then you'd hate me, you'd leave me, everyone else left me. So I felt kind of pressured to be that person that wouldn't do that, because I want to be that person that's like, no, you deserve someone, because I really liked them. And I don't know, I felt pressured to put them at ease because I really liked them and they were really beating themselves up, and I didn't really know how to process that. And I was kind of like chill about it when talking to them, but it did also make me feel kind of icky and uneasy. But I kept on trying to repress that because I didn't want to think about it. And that is another huge issue with cases involving minors that go unspoken about, because a lot of the adults that are involved, or people that are involved that can actually do something, people that know can do something, but they don't, because they don't want to think about it. They don't want to acknowledge it because it makes them feel uneasy. And that is a huge issue that also needs to be tackled, generally speaking, in any cases of kind of like the see something, say something, is that you need to push past your own kind of unease in situations to do the right thing. And I'm still struggling to forgive myself for the fact that I didn't say something, struggling to forgive myself for the fact that I didn't listen to my own moral compass and was like, no, I'm sorry, I don't want to be involved with you. Because I did want to be involved with them, because I really fucking liked them. So I pushed past something that I shouldn't have pushed past, so that I could be with them. And that was pretty shitty of me. I didn't say anything about that until the incident with the 16-year-old came up towards the end of mine and Yemi's relationship. Now, as things were going kind of downhill, I was desperately trying to get them to talk to me. They were basically ignoring me constantly, or giving me a little bit of something and then disappearing off to go to talk to other people because they didn't want to deal with the situation, which left me to stew in more of my anxiety and panic attacks. But I'm going on too much about myself here. Sorry, I laugh when I'm uncomfortable. Sorry, it's not a funny situation at all. Anyway, while things were kind of going downhill between me and them, they were talking to a 16-year-old girl, which, not inherently malicious. Adults can talk to minors. I talk to people that are in my server. I talk to people on my live streams. I talk via DMs to some of the minors that are in my server because, you know, they want to show me art that they did, or talk about a script idea, or send me a funny meme, or things like that. So adults talking to minors is not inherently bad. The issue is when they started pushing the boundaries of acceptable behavior between an adult and a minor. And I don't want to go out and like say the things that were said because they're very difficult for me to say out loud because it makes me feel not very well. It makes me very, very angry. It's just very, very uncomfortable to talk about. So the screenshots are in the doc, in the description of this video. Sorry, yeah. And that was going on as they were basically ignoring me in the situation, and content to just get rid of me because I was too much effort. Because I actually wanted to sort things out and talk about the situation rather than just letting them leave because they were kind of uncomfortable when something came up. But I am once again venting. I told myself I wouldn't do that. I'm so sorry. Yes, most things were, yeah, they were talking to her, and I don't blame her because yes, she was kind of encouraging some things, and she was there for them, and she wanted to make them feel better because they were venting about me, and kind of twisting things to make it seem like, oh, Kai is such a bad person, he's making me feel bad because he's doing this, that, and the other, he doesn't understand me, and venting to this 16-year-old girl who was trying to comfort this 20-year-old content creator that was giving her attention. That was kind of shitty on their part. Not her part, because she obviously didn't know my side of the situation. But it's kind of shitty on their part, yeah. But again, nothing inherently malicious about that. It was when it kind of became unloading a lot of very heavy stuff onto a minor, which is kind of uncomfortable as an adult to do, and then also starting to be inappropriate towards her. It started off as kind of joking and then testing the waters, and then little comments here and there which you should not be making towards a minor if you're an adult, and it just became very uncomfortable. Again, stuff in the Google Docs down below, and that is not a mistake. When I confronted them about the way that they were talking to her, their first response was basically, oh well, I shouldn't have trusted her, she told on me. That was basically their initial response, was, damn, she told on me, she snitched on me. And that is such a dangerous mentality when you're more concerned about what other people think of you, you're more concerned about being caught than you are about the minor's life that you're affecting. And that is where my huge issue with them stands, and people like them stands. When they are so focused on not losing people, but don't actually consider the fact that they should not have done what they did in the first place. And it's the fact that it's a repeated behavior too. They broke up with the 13-year-old when they were 18, basically because they felt guilty about what other people would think. They maintained the friendship between the now 15-year-old, and like they've been like friends ever since. But I remember when Yemi and I were dating, they vented to me about how the 15-year-old, now 15-year-old, once 13-year-old when they dated, called them out on basically spending most of the time talking to her, checking if she was mad at them, or checking if she felt like a victim to them. And that does not sit right with me now. At the time, I was kind of on their side because I was like, no, you're just checking because you care. And that has become a behavior that I've started to see through more, especially during the situation last year, with both myself and with the 16-year-old, is that they care more about their appearance than they do about the person they're affecting. When things started to go downhill between me and them, they cared less about me and more about the fact that I had more friends than them, and they were worried about losing our joint friends. They were more worried about looking like a bad person than they were about the fact that I was, trigger warning, incredibly suicidal. Actively suicidal. I had no idea what to do with myself. I did not know how to function. It's a very long story to what got me to that point. And like, I've been through breakups before, I've been through traumas before, I've been through really intense situations before. This situation really just broke me in quite a bad way. And they cared more about what people would think of them than they did about me. And then whenever they showed any sign of remorse, it was in the form of beating themselves up. And so I was left trying to comfort them. And they do the same thing when it comes to being confronted about being inappropriate towards minors. They care more about what other people think of them than they do about the fact that they have groomed a minor. And I'm not gonna throw out the word pedophile because there's a different word if it's an adult and a teenager. It's still not okay. It's still an adult and a minor. And it's still, especially in this case, because like in some cases there are minors that are like close to being 18 that say that they're 18. And in that case, I don't really blame the adult too much if they step back once they know. But in this case, they knew. They knew that that girl was 13 when they were 18, and they still dated her. They knew that 16, and still was incredibly inappropriate towards her. They knew what they were doing was wrong, and instead of just not doing it, or stepping back once they got that semblance of conscience, they decided to beat themselves up and talk about how they were such a terrible person and everyone was going to leave them, and saying how it was a mistake and people don't understand. Something like this is not a mistake. It's something that affects someone for a very, very long time. Longer than it affects you. The thing that will affect you the most in this situation, as the person that has groomed the minor, is going to be the backlash that you should rightfully get. As someone who has been that minor, it affects you for a very long time, and I'm not sure if that effect ever goes away. So you have no right to get mad about the fact that people will push back against you and say that what you're doing is wrong. You have no right to say that you just made a mistake and you just need to find the right people that will accept you. Because what you did should not have been done. That is something that can't be undone. If you already felt bad, if you truly felt bad, if you truly felt so guilty about the fact that you dated a 13-year-old when you were 18, then you will have not have been inappropriate towards a 16-year-old at age 20. That's not okay. You trusted the 16-year-old to not say anything about what was going on between you two. And you were more upset and blamed her when she did say something. And that's dangerous. That shows that you care more about your appearance than you do about the effects that you have on other people. That's dangerous and it's not okay. And I know talking about this, I'm gonna lose some people. And you know what? Sure, that's fine. I accept that. I don't care. If I lose people for talking about this, then so be it. Because I will have lost the right people. I was very scared about talking about this because I didn't want to lose people. Because I didn't want to come across as an asshole. Because, yeah, everyone cares about how they look to other people. Everyone cares about what other people think, to at least some degree. But at least I know that I'm doing something for the better and not ruining people's lives. So, that's my stance on this situation. You make mistakes in life, and you can improve, you can get better. I used to be kind of an asshole. I used to be really irritable and snappy at people a few years ago. I had quite bad anger issues that I never really got the right treatment for. And during sort of like mid to late 2019, I really started working on that. And the people whose lives I affected with my bad behavior, some of them still don't talk to me anymore. Between you and me, they weren't very nice people anyway. But some of them do, and they've forgiven me because I have improved on something that, you know, I was in a very bad place in my life and I acted out because of it. That's a little bit different from actively deciding to lewd a minor. So mistakes are made in life. You do bad shit sometimes. Some things are forgivable and some things really aren't. Say if I had killed someone in one of my anger outbursts, I would never expect to be forgiven. If I lost people who found out that I'd killed someone, I would accept that because I killed someone. That's someone's kid, that's someone's sibling, that's someone's friend, that's someone's cousin. I killed someone. I've affected so many lives from that one person whose life I took. That's not a mistake. And that was a decision that I made from a bad place that I feel guilty about, for sure. But I'd never expect to be forgiven for that. And I know that Yemi has said that they don't expect forgiveness from me or from the minors involved. But they do also feel like it was just a mistake, and they just need to find the right people that will accept them for who they are and what they've done. And sure, I'm sure that there are enough people around that, yes, they will find that. They will find plenty of people that will still support them either way. There'll probably be plenty of people that will attack me. I accept that. But it's not a mistake. What they did is not a mistake, and I stand by that. Now I've been going on for a while. I'm gonna stop now, but I feel like I've gotten out at least most of what I wanted to say. I don't know, this was kind of shooting off without too much direction. But yeah, sorry for the heaviness of this video. That's all.